You're taking magnesium glycinate every night. The bottle says it supports sleep. Maybe your doctor even mentioned it. But you're still waking up at 2:30, 3 in the morning, wide awake, staring at the ceiling. So what's going wrong? Here's what I want you to know right away. The supplement is probably not the problem. What's happening is more specific than that. And once you understand it, you can actually fix it. I'm Dr. Will, and today I'm going to walk you through exactly why magnesium glycinate often underperforms in people over 60, what's actually getting in the way, and what a practical evening routine looks like when you do it right. So why does this happen? You're doing everything right. You bought the glycinate form, not the oxide. You're taking it consistently. But the 2:30 a.m. wake-up keeps coming. The answer starts with 3 specific changes that happen in the body after 60, and most doctors never mention them. First, stomach acid tends to decrease with age. Now, magnesium glycinate is a chelated form, which means it's already bound to the amino acid glycine. That makes it absorb better than most other forms and less dependent on stomach acid. So this matters less with glycinate than with cheaper supplements. But it still plays a role for some people, especially if absorption has been an issue for you. Second, kidney function naturally slows down. The kidneys help regulate how much magnesium stays in the body and how much gets filtered out. For most healthy older adults, glycinate is well tolerated. But if you have any history of kidney disease, even mild, this is a conversation to have with your doctor before adding magnesium. Don't skip that step. And third, the body's internal clock, the circadian rhythm, becomes more fragile after 60. Small disruptions that younger people barely notice can significantly fragment sleep in older adults. These 3 changes don't mean magnesium stops working. They mean it needs the right conditions to work. That's where most people make their first mistake, without realizing it. Many adults over 60 are also taking vitamin D3, which is smart because D3 deficiency is common in this age group. But here's something worth knowing. Magnesium actually supports how your body processes vitamin D. They work together. The issue is timing. For some people, taking both in the evening can send the nervous system 2 conflicting signals. D3 is stimulating. Magnesium is calming. Not everyone notices this, but splitting them is a simple low-risk adjustment that tends to produce more consistent sleep in older adults. Move D3 to the morning. Keep magnesium for the evening. It costs you nothing to try. Now let's talk about leg cramps, because this comes up constantly. Someone starts magnesium glycinate, expecting the cramps to stop, and they don't. Sometimes they even seem worse. Most of the time, hydration is part of the answer. Older adults often reduce how much they drink in the evening to avoid waking up to use the bathroom. That's understandable, but magnesium needs water to move through the body and reach the muscles. Without enough fluid, it simply doesn't get there as well. That said, if cramps are persistent, hydration may not be the whole story. Low potassium, general electrolyte imbalance, or simply not being on a high enough dose can all be factors. Adding potassium-rich foods, a banana, some leafy greens, can help alongside the supplement. And most people do well starting at 200 milligrams of elemental magnesium and adjusting from there up to around 400 milligrams. Start low, give it time. And if cramps continue, it's worth mentioning to your doctor. Here's another one that surprises people. You take magnesium glycinate, You shut off the lights, you lie down, and your mind is still racing. Thoughts, worries, mental replays of the day. You'd think the magnesium would take care of that, and it would if it had time to work. The glycine in magnesium glycinate, that's the compound attached to the magnesium, has a calming effect on the nervous system, but it needs time to absorb and act, 30 to 60 minutes at least. The problem is that many people take it and then spend that window on their phone or watching something on a screen. Blue light from screens blocks the brain's ability to wind down. It interferes with melatonin production, and it cancels out much of what the glycine is trying to do. Take it first, then turn the screens off. That order matters more than most people think. Let's shift to something slightly different. Morning joint stiffness. You slept 7, maybe 8 hours. You wake up and your joints feel stiff. Maybe your hands, maybe your knees. Now, most morning stiffness comes down to inflammation, reduced movement, overnight, or conditions like arthritis. That's the primary picture. But there's a secondary piece worth knowing about. If you're taking vitamin D3 without K2, some of the calcium that D3 helps absorb may not be going where it should. K2 won't fix arthritis, but it supports long-term bone and joint health when paired with D3, and that's worth building into your routine. Something to discuss with your doctor if stiffness is an ongoing issue. Now, one more absorption issue worth understanding. Magnesium competes for the same absorption pathway as calcium and iron. If you're taking all three together, even in a combined supplement, they're essentially crowding each other out. Less of each gets absorbed. Space them out. Take iron or calcium at a different time of day. Let magnesium have its own window. So what does a practical evening routine actually look like? 4 steps. And I want you to try this for 10 days before you judge it. First, have a light dinner that includes a magnesium-rich food. Pumpkin seeds are one of the best sources. A small handful is enough. Spinach works well. Bone broth is worth mentioning specifically because it contains glycine naturally, which complements what's already in magnesium glycinate. Second, screens off before you take the supplement. Make that your cue, not when you feel like it. Screens off first, then supplement. Third, take magnesium glycinate alone, not with other minerals, not with D3, with a small glass of water, 30 to 60 minutes before you intend to sleep. If you're new to it, start at 200 milligrams. You can always adjust up slowly. Fourth, 5 or 6 slow exhales before you close your eyes. Not an elaborate practice, just enough to shift your nervous system into rest mode and let the glycine do its job. A significant number of people who follow this consistently for 10 days notice a real difference. Fewer wake-ups, and when they do wake up, falling back to sleep is easier. Not everyone responds the same way or on the same timeline, but the pattern holds for many people who get the conditions right. One more thing before we close, and this is important. If you're taking blood pressure medication, blood thinners like warfarin, or antibiotics, or if you have any history of kidney problems, please talk to your doctor or pharmacist before adjusting your magnesium routine. Your pharmacist is often faster to reach than your doctor's office, and they're an excellent resource for exactly this kind of question. Here's the bottom line. Magnesium glycinate is a well-studied supplement that genuinely supports sleep in older adults, and it's generally well tolerated. But after 60, timing matters more. What you pair it with matters, and the hour before bed shapes whether the supplement has any real chance to work. This isn't about taking more, It's about giving what you're already taking the right conditions. If this gave you something useful, something that explains what you've been experiencing, consider subscribing. There's a lot more on this channel about how the body changes after 60 and what you can actually do about it. Real information, no shortcuts. Take care of yourself.